A national child disability and special needs survey is currently being administered in the member countries of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, and that includes St. Kitts and Nevis. Today's first guest, Michelle Jacobs, Student Support Officer in the Ministry of Education, is joining us to give us some details on this survey. Good morning, Ms. Jacobs. Welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
How are you?
All right.
I'm all right, thanks.
Good. I'm very glad that you are here. So we're going to begin talking about the survey. First of all, we want to know, what is PEARL, P-E-A-R-L?
Okay, PEARL is an acronym for, let me see if I can, a program which is done by the OECS, a program for educational advancement and relevant learning. We know after COVID, we had, setbacks in education across the OECS, and so the OECS is doing several projects to enhance the learning of our students.
Mm-hmm. So what is the primary purpose of the PEARL SEND survey?
The PEARL survey is more now geared at looking at students with special educational needs and how we can better reach and cater for the needs of those students in the school systems across the OECS.
I have a follow-up question. Is this PEARL SEND only for the students at the Cotton Thomas Primary or?
No.
Okay.
The survey is aimed at not just students, but parents, teachers, community workers, healthcare practitioners. So it's for a wide variety of persons because it's gathering information so that we can look at how we can improve the services that we already have and get more that can make it even better and more effective for students with special education needs.
So what type of data is the survey designed to collect?
Well, it's collecting information on the types of disabilities that are out there, the special educational needs that need to be addressed, the resources that are needed to address those concerns, facilities, both human and physical resources. So it is trying to get us to understand where we are at now and where we need to be in the not too distant future in catering to the needs of students with special needs.
So is it safe to assume then that the data itself would be used to inform policy, to guide education?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that we can make things better for our students with special needs so that they can be productive citizens across the region.
Interesting.
You mentioned who the survey would target, but can you get to the specific? Is it just a student that will benefit from the overall collection of the data?
No, the data that is being collected is for us as policymakers to actually look at what we have and what we need to get to make sure that students get the best, because we're looking at equality across the system. And at present, I know for us in St. Kitts Nevis, our students, we try as best we can. However, these resources are limited. Example, the human power. Persons who are trained in areas that you can make sure that students with special needs get the best, it's lacking. Both in our special schools, because training is something that is vital. So when we collect this information, we can look to see how much training we can access so that our teachers can be better equipped to work with students that may enter their classrooms.
Right. So when is the deadline for completion of the survey? Okay, but it's going on right now, so that
yes,
gives
it's going
time.
on now. Oh, it's the end of this month.
End of this month.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And how can persons participate? Do you go out and you reach them where they are, or do you just ask people to fill the survey out?
The survey it's a link actually that you can disseminate. The school population, it was a pilot. We picked some of the schools. It wasn't all the schools that were involved. they had a certain number because it's a regional effort. They gave us all numbers so that this target population is what they're looking at. I know for the students with special needs, I think it was about 80 plus that they needed. At the primary level, there was another percentage for the primary school level and another percentage for the parents. So you have students in schools with special educational needs in our regular schools. And so there was a percentage that was needed. And so they gave us the schools, they picked the schools that they wanted us to send that information to. We had to alter it because the numbers that they were looking for, we couldn't get them in those 2 schools or 3 schools at the time. So we added a few others. So it's just a pilot, a selection, from different schools. When it comes to the community personnel and the health practitioners, it can be anybody. So if the information comes to you, you're encouraged to do it. Fill out the survey as best you can and as honestly as you can, and send it in.
I'm sorry. No, thank you. I'm just curious. In terms of the schools, were there private schools and public schools represented both? Schools on Nevis as well, if you're aware? Or?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
They selected mostly the public
schools. Okay. Well, that's within your domain of control directly anyway, so
yes.
Makes sense.
So once you would have collected all the information that is required, how long would it take before, how should I say, the information is presented to the public as to these are our findings?
Well, I'm hoping we are getting step-by-step feedback as to the progress of the process.
Okay.
We have identified some facilitators, both in St. Kitts and Nevis, that is monitoring the process. We have a committee set up that we are actually ensuring that the different parts and in different needs that they're asking us for are met.
Okay.
And so they are giving us feedback as to how much percentage we have already completed. The last set of information I saw, we had 20-something% of our special needs population students have already been doing the survey. Some of them, as I said, it's a link, so you can just go, once you receive the link, you can open it up because it's an online thing. And for some, if you don't have the online, there's a paper and somebody comes and does an interview and your answers. And we've had some reluctance because, some persons, they're not too familiar with special needs.
Okay.
It's a reality. A lot of persons do not know much about special needs. And a lot of people think that a special need is just something that you see, but some of them are very hidden.
Yes.
And so they really do need to be identified. And that's one of the challenges of our system as well. We have children with special needs, but they're not identified or diagnosed. And so that has posed another, and again, that information, once we can see how we can get that information, it makes it better for us to identify, diagnose, know the processes in getting to where we need to be.
So Michelle, can you tell us why has it been this long before this program came about to identify the special needs of students who may be attending regular school?
Well, for me, I think for us in St. Kitts and Nevis, I can say COVID is the reason why it has come to where it is now.
Okay.
We have always been catering to the needs of special students with special needs all along. However, not on the scale that we would like to have it. We've had a school for special children for over 20 years. However, I know across the region, and having spoken to some other islands, we are doing pretty well, but can do much better.
Okay.
And so with the COVID onset, we saw a lot of issues coming out, especially with children with special needs. We saw children with special needs unleashed on our regular school systems because there was no the screening process that usually happens was compromised.
Okay.
And so a lot of students ended up in the regular primary schools. And so it was a plus because then it made teachers more aware. And when we look at some of them, children with special needs can be in the regular classroom with their peers once our teachers are equipped. And that's a part that I am hoping that this survey will bring out, that we do need training and we do need the resources that are needed to ensure that children can succeed, not just be in the classrooms, but succeed in those classrooms. We've had success stories over the years where students with special needs come right through the school system and achieve some level of success. Yes. And so we just want to see it on a larger scale, not the one-off hit and miss, but intentional progress for our students with special needs. So at this stage, I guess we can say the time is ripe for it to happen.
Good stuff.
I can only imagine, obviously you're speaking to the benefits of having children with special needs, in school systems with, other children. I can only imagine the challenges that might also present for you and also for the teachers in case, there are certain things that are not diagnosed. You mentioned that the screening process wasn't, say, as effective if it was implemented at all because of COVID. So in terms of your work in facilitating student support and also helping teachers to address these issues, what can you tell us about that? How difficult or beneficial has it been because of these things?
Well, benefits is that more persons are asking for help. More children are being pinpointed, aiming at getting help for them. The downside that the workload has gotten way more.
You travel a lot.
So, yes, it's now pulling me in all directions. So it would be nice to have an assistant right about now. Okay. However, I can see the positives of it in that persons are more open now in asking for help and reaching out, because for me as a student support officer, I expect teachers to be calling me. However, I'm also getting calls from parents, which is good, because at least now parents are a little more open and accepting of, yes, my child may be different, but they can get help.
Yes.
And that's where we want to reach. Not just for teachers to be identifying, but parents knowing what their children are going through, what they're struggling with. And some of them, when you dig into the history, some of the parents themselves have these struggles, but just never noticed or were never addressed. And so it is good for the children now that they can access help so that they can be successful in whatever environment they find themselves.
So if the survey leads you to get an assistant or two, I'm all for it.
I'm hoping.
Indeed. So you said most of the children's problems were identified during COVID, right? Was this because of the online schooling?
Well, I wouldn't say most of it, but some were highlighted.
Okay.
The online system, yes, brought it out, and it also highlighted the struggles that some of them, because they might have known about them, but the struggle wasn't as real, because the online situation and the in-person situation, they are completely different. Really? Some children embraced the online, others, it was hell for them. Yeah. And so we going forward, we have embraced what we call a hybrid situation, where we can't completely say, okay, COVID is gone, and so therefore, let's dump away the... We can't go back to what was.
Yes.
So we have to teach the children now to appreciate both.
Yes.
Because we have to be using both. And some children with special needs, they gravitate to the technology. They love it. Yeah. Others, they may never get it. And so you still have to find that middle ground.
Yes.
So it did show up some of the issues, but as you say, you work with them, you roll with the punches.
Yes.
Absolutely right. So as you continue to collect data, of course, it's important to remind our viewers of the importance of participating in the Pearl Science Survey. There's your camera. Make your plea.
Well, what I would like to tell the public is, if you get that link, please assist us in getting the information collected as honestly as you can. You may not know much of what you're being asked, but try. Because the information is very important for us, not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, but across the region, in ensuring that our students who will become adults in the not too distant future, because time is not waiting on anybody, but we have to make sure that we make the best for all of them. As we say, no child should be left behind. We have education for all, and we have to be, and the ministry's motto is education for all, embracing change, securing the future. And we have to do that. Whether we like it or not, the future is now. And so therefore, please, as much as you can, if you're a healthcare practitioner, community worker, parent, student, I'm appealing to you. If you get the survey, please, as much as possible, help us to help our students with special needs. And they're not only in our special schools, they are also in our regular schools. And so therefore, we have to learn to help everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah.